direct from outer space. It's Mary Farfisa's Outer Space Radio Theater.
What song does a star sing when it's all by itself? What sound does a comet make when it's flying around? And did you know that the sun enjoys playing the drums? And did you know that the moon has a favorite tune? Well, you might think that outer space is a quiet place, but there's a melody in all that astronomy. Well, I roam through galaxies looking for sounds that interest me. There's too many to mention if I just pay attention. Songs and sounds, music and noise can be as much fun as a box full of toys. Songs and sounds, music and noise.
Handyman Hal, can you turn the sonic radio off?
Why, Jane Sarah? Mary Farfisa's on.
Exactly.
I am Mary Farfisa.
I'm Mary Farfisa.
Today's episode, Lullaby
all right.
and Good Night.
But aren't you and Mary, friends now?
I can't stand her anymore, but that theme song bugs me. I mean, how many 8-year-old kids have a theme song?
I think it's a nice song. What sound does a star make? Besides, there's nothing wrong with having a theme song. I think everyone should have one.
Why don't I have one? I'm the smartest girl in the universe. Even if my ancestor was a star dodo.
Yes.
Did you just laugh at me?
No, of course not, Jane Sarah. Now, we really should be on our way to the planet Two Scoops. They've got quite a problem there. It needs fixing. And when the universe needs fixing, it needs Handyman How.
When the universe needs fixing, it needs a handyman. Handyman How.
Not where, not why, and you better not say who.
Handyman How. He's smarter than you.
What was that?
My theme song. Isn't it great? I liked Mary's theme song so much, I had to have one of my own.
But
we can listen to it again later. But now, we're off to Two Scoops. I'll just fire up the toolbox. What's wrong with the toolbox? It shouldn't sound like that. Ah, there we are.
Toolbox, 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 toolbox.
the toolbox can travel through time.
The toolbox can travel through space.
In all the big wide universe, there is just no place you can't go in the toolbox. Toolbox.
What? The toolbox has a theme song now, but I don't?
Ah, here we are on the streets of Two Scoops. Just look around you, Jane Sarah, and you'll see that the problem here is Jane.
She's a fantastic creature, haven't you heard? She's the descendant of a cosmic bird. We don't have to mention which one.
Jane Sarah, are you paying attention?
Oh, sure. I was just working on my theme song. How does this sound? You might think that it's not fair. She's got all the brains and the most beautiful hair. Jane Sirrah. Good, huh?
Yes, it's very nice. But we have a planet taken over by ice cream cones right now to deal with. So...
I know. Back to work. Wait, did you say a planet taken over by ice cream cones?
I did indeed. Look around you, Jane Sirrah.
Well, this is weird. The city is full of what looks like giant upside-down ice cream cones with big, round eyes. I've never heard of living ice cream.
Those creatures are called cones, Jane Sirrah. Kones. They do look like giant upside-down ice cream cones, except for the big, bulgy eyes, of course.
The two Scoopians seem to be treating them like celebrities. They're gathered around the ice cream cones. Look at that kid with the violin. She waited in line to talk to that cone. It looks like she asked it for something, and now she's jumping up and down with a big smile on her face. All the people are talking to the cones like that. They look like they simply adore the cones. Handyman How?
I'm sure they do. They've fallen for the trap that the leaders of the cones have set.
So you know what these cones are up to?
Of course I do.
Of course you do.
There are presently cones all over this planet, but they are led by two particular cones. They are called Jen and Barry, two sinister alpha cones with a yen for world domination.
Jen and Barry?
Yes, the cones we see here do have powers, but they are really mindless drones. They take their orders from Jen and Barry.
I like ice cream cones, but these giant cones with their big bug eyes are creepy. Why do the people of Two Scoops like them so much?
Because, Jane Sirrah, the cones can grant wishes.
Grant wishes? You mean like a genie grants wishes?
Exactly.
So, the cones give all the people 3 wishes or something?
No, they give them all the wishes they want. There is a limit, of course, to what they can do. All the cones ask in return for granting people's wishes is that the whole planet gives up eating ice cream.
They'll grant everyone's wishes as long as no one on the planet eats ice cream?
Yes. They arrive on a world and demonstrate what they can do for the people who live there. Then they give that world a simple choice. They say, it's us or ice cream.
This sounds fishy to me, Handyman How. Why would it be so important that everyone gives up ice cream?
Because they're made of ice cream, of course. Would you want to live on a planet where they ate girls who lived in toolboxes?
Hey, you're the kid with the violin that was talking to that cone.
Yep, I wished I could play the violin, and the cone granted my wish. I've never played the violin before, but now, listen. Next time, I'm going to wish that I can play piano, and I'll wish for a piano too.
Young lady, that's no way to learn music.
I don't want to learn it, I just want to play it.
But
I can play the boy rebellion bassoon.
Who are you?
I'm Ivan.
He's my little brother.
the Bazorbabillion bassoon is incredibly difficult to master.
Not for me. The cone granted my wish.
But
I can't talk anymore, mister. I'm late for school. Excuse me, Mr. Cone? Can you get me to school on time? Thank you.
the entire fabric of Two Scoopian society will be eaten away if things go on like this, Jane Sirrah.
What are we going to do, Handyman How?
First, we'll contact the person who sent the distress call to the toolbox.
Who did call us here, Handyman How?
A famous entrepreneur whose business has suffered a great deal since Jen and Barry arrived and got everyone to give up ice cream. As you know, Ice cream is a very popular dairy product. The person who called us is this planet's foremost manufacturer of dairy products. They call him the Dairy King.
Handyman Hal, you must drive Jen and Barry from this planet before my empire is ruined.
I have no wish to meddle in matters of petty commerce. Your marketing problems are no concern of Handyman Hal. However, I do find what Jen and Barry are perpetrating here to be quite distasteful. Jane Syrah is right.
I'm always right.
This whole thing is fishy. Jen and Barry want more from this planet than the love of its citizens, and a promise not to eat ice cream. What they are trying to create is a planet that is totally dependent on them and their so-called benevolence.
You have to stop them, Handyman Hal.
I will. You have only to tell me where they are, and I will deal with them. I have no love for nefarious, duplicitous tricksters who beguile and bamboozle the unsagacious citizens of a gullible globe like 2 Scoops. I will expatriate the pusillanimous pair and their perfidious conical conspirators.
What?
He'll get rid of the cones.
Oh, wonderful. I will call for my advisors, Basket and Robbins. They've been studying the actions of those villains since they arrived. Basket, Robbins?
Yes, Dairy King.
Show Handyman Hal and his assistant the location of Jen and Barry's spacecraft.
Of course, Dairy King. Here is a holographic map to its location. Jen and Barry's spacecraft is unusual, Handyman Hal. It's shaped like a bucket or a tub. The cones beam themselves in and out of it, but there is a round removable lid on top.
No need for us to use a lid. The toolbox will materialize right in its control room. Come along, Jane Syrah. To the toolbox.
Toolbox, 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 toolbox.
Not that again.
Jen, there seems to be something materializing in our control room. It looks like a toolbox.
It is a toolbox, although I've never seen one large enough for a silver-haired gentleman to step out of.
Who do you suppose he is, and what is he doing here?
I'm Handyman Hal, and this is my assistant, Jane Syrah.
That's Syrah! With an exclamation point.
We're here to stop what you're doing to the planet 2 Scoops.
Handyman Hal, I've heard of him. He goes around the universe fixing things.
Oh, sort of like Doctor Who.
Don't say it!
Don't even say it. I'm Handyman Hal, and I'm not like anyone. Handyman Hal. Not where, not why, and definitely not who.
When the universe needs fixing.
Oh, not now.
We're not doing anything to the people of 2 Scoops that they don't want to be done. We're granting their wishes, after all. And all we ask in return is that they stop eating ice cream.
Come now, that's not what you're really after.
Oh, well, yes. It is just a ruse. It doesn't really matter to us if the people here eat ice cream. The idea is to get them to obey us.
We get them to give up something they really like, so we'll grant their wishes.
That gets them used to doing what we say.
We tell them us or ice cream.
Can't have both.
Us or ice cream.
That's what we tell them.
And they choose us.
Our cones grant their wishes.
And they get used to having everything they want.
And then they become totally dependent on us.
And that's when we tell them what we really want them to do.
What do you really want them to do? We have to do something, Handyman Hal. Those cones are cracked.
Say what you like, but we cones are welcome guests on 2 Scoops, unlike the 2 of you on our control ship. I wish our cones to remove you.
HH, there are 3 cones materializing behind Jen and Barry.
Yes, and they're here to grant our wish that you leave our control ship. Funky Monkey, Chocolate Chip Wookie Dough, Cherry Lewis, I wish for Handyman Hal and his assistant to be back in their toolbox and far, far away from here.
Handyman Hal, we're back in the toolbox, in outer space.
Yes. However, they've underestimated us. They should have wished for something much more restricting if they want to stop me from fixing this situation.
Right, so now that we're back in the toolbox, how about we take care of those creepy cones? Are we gonna use the sonic cone crusher or something?
Come now, Jane Sarah. You know that there are no weapons on the toolbox. Destroying things is a primitive way to solve problems. We fix things.
Okay, so how do we fix those creepy cones?
While we were speaking to Jen and Barry, I ran several analyses of their chemical structure. I ascertained that while the cones are not technically made of ice cream, they are highly sensitive to heat. So, we're going to melt them.
Melt them? How is that not destroying them?
Oh, we'll just make 2 scoops hot enough that they can't stay there anymore. They'll leave there before they melt. 2 scoops temperature is already at the high end of what Jen and Barry and their cones can tolerate. We just have to raise the temperature a little bit to drive them out.
You know, I could concoct a canister of tririlion gases. We could deploy it into the stratosphere of 2 scoops. It would cause an acceleration of heliomatic particle levels almost instantaneously and raise the global temperature of 2 scoops by more than 30 tappy whittles.
Oh, well, yes, of course there's that. But I was thinking it might be better to just move the sun a little closer to their planet.
Move their sun? Isn't that a little grandiose? Wouldn't it be easier to just do it my way?
Of course it would be. But my way would be so much more fun. It may be a little showy, but oh, what's wrong with that? And besides, we've never used the sonic tow chain before. Think of it.
You're the handyman. I guess it's your call.
It will be splendid, Jane Sarah. Set the controls for the heart of the sun. I've always wanted to say that.
Pink Floyd, HH, you really are old.
Jen, I'm not feeling very well.
Really, Barry? I don't feel very well myself.
Is there something wrong with our cooling system? It seems quite warm in here.
Barry, look! It's Handyman Hal and his assistant again in their toolbox.
There's nothing wrong with your cooling system, Jen and Barry, but it is certainly warmer in here, just as it is warmer on the surface of 2 scoops.
Handyman Hal, what have you done?
We used the sonic tow chain to drag the sun a tiny bit closer to 2 scoops.
Raising the temperature of the entire planet.
To a degree that you and your cones can't tolerate.
He's right, Barry. Cones all over the planet are starting to melt down.
That's right. Oh, you can try to wish the sun back to where it was, but I'm afraid something that big is beyond the abilities of your cones. You and all of your cones have no choice but to leave this planet.
You've moved an entire sun? That's incredible!
Grandiose, I thought.
The incredible is the ordinary for Handyman Hal.
This is horrible, Barry. I'm melting!
You certainly are. Stand back, Jane Sarah. Jen and Barry are starting to drip.
Yuck.
All right, Handyman Hal, you win this time, but there are other planets we can go to. You'll be sorry you did this.
I doubt it.
We'll get you, Handyman Hal, and your little dog, too.
What? Hey! Handyman Hal, our computers show that all of the cones have beamed themselves back onto Jen and Barry's space bucket, and there they go. They're taking off, no doubt heading far away from this solar system.
That's the end of that.
I'll bet the people on 2 scoops won't even be grateful we got rid of them. Except for that Dairy King dude.
I suppose the cones will be missed. for a while, but it was for their own good.
At least we can get ice cream again.
Why didn't they realize that no one would give them all that free stuff and not want something back in return? Are the people on Two Scoops stupid or what?
I don't think they're stupid, Jane Syrah. A little lazy, perhaps.
I think they were stupid. Maybe having all those ice cream cones around gave them a brain freeze.
Why, Jane Syrah, did you make a joke?
No. That wasn't a joke. It was just a caustic remark, slightly tempered with my trademark biting sarcasm.
It sounded like a joke. I've never heard you make a joke before. Do you know who else makes jokes?
Don't even say it.
Your friend, Mary Farfisa.
She is not my friend. Exactly.
I think Mary Farfisa is rubbing off on you.
Gross.
Well, anyway, it's time for us to leave. Our work here is done. Let's fire up the toolbox. And it's off to the next adventure.
Sure.
She's a fantastic creature, haven't you heard? She's the descendant of a cosmic bird, Jane Syrah. You might think that it's not fair. She's got all the brains and beautiful hair, Jane Syrah. Jane Syrah.
You've been listening to Us or Ice Cream, today's episode of Mary Farfisa's Outer Space Radio Theater. Written and produced by Jim Sheff. Katie King starred as Jane Syrah. James Hassapis played the amazing handyman Hal. Lisa Coe played Jen. Frank Furtado was Barry. Becca Coe played the girl with the violin. And Ivan King showed us his mastery of the Bezorbabilian bassoon as Ivan. The theme song music for Jane Syrah, Handyman How, and The Toolbox was composed by Katie King and performed by Katie and the rest of the cast. Our Mary Farfisa theme song was written and performed by Kara Albach.
Mary Farfisa and today's Mary Farfisa's Outer Space Radio Theater Adventure are copyright 2017 by Jim Sheff, all rights reserved.